really big thing you can do that makes a massive difference, if you insert, and this is something that you can do with scans, head scans, if you insert a sphere, you can actually use it and create eyeballs separately. So I'm just going to zoom out, make them smaller, or make it smaller. I'm going to turn symmetry off for the moment. You can see I can just position this and I can scale it just to the right size. And I can also check my proportions. I know, for example, that on average the human eye has a gap between the two eyes that is the same as an eyeball. So if I just duplicate here, you can see that putting it in between like that works about right. So proportions of the sculpture are about right. And if I hit the S button, I can actually go solo and work on this as a separate object. Now if I come up here and choose the mask circle, I can mask off, and again I'm rushing this through, but by masking off this area, if I zoom in, you can see I can put my, let's say, clay build-up brush, and I can turn my alpha into a dot, and I can sculpt in however I want my eyeball to look. I don't like that at all, but let's say we do something like that. Who knows? I turn the mask off, smooth it out a bit, turn solo off, turn off transparent. And now what I can do, I can just position this eye and start getting it just in the right position. And then what I would do is go back in with my clay build-up brush. I turn my alpha back to this normal alpha, the little square, and then by holding Alt, I can effectively reduce and remove the existing eye and let that other eyeball start to show through. And I can also see where it might impact, you see. So because eyeballs are pretty much round, you can see that either the eye is out of place or the eyelid, oops, I need to go onto the eyeball, there we are. Either the eye is out of place or the eyelid. So move the eye back a bit. And you know, then you can come in and start building your eyelids back up however you want to. Okay, it's pretty ugly, but you get the idea that you can, by doing that, you can then rotate the eye if you're not sure about the positioning of the pupil. And then even better than that, once you're happy, just get rid of you can duplicate it across. 2 for the price of 1. I'm going to turn those eyes off for the moment. Okay. So now you can see what's happened here is I've lost my eyeball. So I think actually, do you know what? I want to go back and use my undo. And let's bring that all back. And there we go. He's back. Okay, so the other thing that you can do if you're sculpting from scratch, this is kind of separate from bringing a 3D scan in. However, just as a very, very quick piece of info for you, really, if I bring a sphere in, here it is. I'll just give it a bit of resolution. And you can see that I've got symmetry turned on. Okay, if I hit the X on the keyboard, it brings symmetry on. Now what symmetry means is that you only need to sculpt 1/2 of something. And I'm going to use the move tool and start to create what would be a head, I guess. And you can see just by shoving things around, moving things around, you can get some very quick shapes. And then what I would do is just Dynamesh this. Okay, you can use the smooth brush, and you can keep Dynameshing, which means that the Dynamesh basically it puts a new mesh around it so that you don't get too much distortion. But there you go. So symmetry is fantastic. So it means if you are sculpting something from scratch, you only need to sculpt it on one side. Okay, I'm going to delete that fella and then come back. And that's it. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how you can use 3D scanning from real sculptures and bring it in and refine the sculpt in various different ways to make it work in your favor. Whether it's smoothing things off or separating things so you can tidy up edges and clean edges up. Whether you want to double check the symmetry of various different parts. So just for example, if you look at the back here, you can see this bit, this side is very slightly different to this side. So you could actually use the, if I go onto the move tool and resize this, you could, if I actually had the body selected, you could start to look at the symmetry. These things are all really, really tough in the real world, but these are the things that are made a lot easier in a digital. And you know, you can do the same by looking from above. Is the symmetry working how you want it? From underneath. Waiting for the autosave. You know, sometimes just just these little things that you're fiddling around with can make all the difference and can give a really nice feel to the sculpture. I mean, even things like under here, whether you know, if you want that really nice rough look to the sculpt, go in with your trim dynamic brush, and you can kind of flatten some areas off, give it a sculpted kind of look, or you can go in with your smooth brush and you can smooth it right out. You can give it flat edges. You can basically do anything. But the important thing with all of this, I think, is that you really keep the integrity of the original sculpture that's been done in the real world, because that's the integrity you want. And then you're using this tool as a way of refining and making certain elements work for you and work in your favour. See, I'm just getting carried away now. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. That's it. Signing off. Hope this helps.